So last unit we did polynomials of the form where x squared was just 1. Now we're going to deal with ones where x squared is no longer just 1. It might be 2, it might be negative, whatever. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to practice some FOILing. So first, 12b squared, and then outsides plus 6b plus 16b plus 8. That leaves us with 12b squared plus 22b plus 8. So very simple. I didn't think we needed more than one example for that. Just go slow, write it out if you need to, and add it all together. Whatever you need to do. Okay, this is multiplying two binomials with negative coefficients. So first, we get negative 14g. Outsides, we get plus 6g squared. Insides, plus 56. And last, we get negative 24g. So then we get 6g squared minus 36g plus 56. Okay, and then kind of the meat and potatoes of this is our factoring. We are now dealing with factoring where we have this tricky little value that is no longer 1. Now the big thing is we're going to learn how to do factoring by decomposition. This a value influences your product. So if we look at this now, our product should be two numbers that multiply to negative 30. Not negative 10, but negative 30. That a value has to come into play. So this one is a multiplied by c now. So 3 multiplied by negative 10. That's how we get that negative 30. That is so critical that we keep that in play. Now we need two numbers that are going to add to negative 13. This one's going to be negative 10 and negative 3, negative 10 and negative 3. Now we noticed a long time ago that this is the sum of two things. So when I say we're decomping, we're decomposing, we know that in chemistry that means things are breaking down. So we can break this down into our two numbers that we found here. So this is negative 10 and negative 3s. It doesn't matter what order you put them in, except sometimes it makes your life easier. Doesn't really matter though. So this is now 3s squared minus 3s minus 10s minus 10. Now, I'm going to show you something that I think is really helpful. We're going to draw a t-turn. We're going to separate these guys. We're going to find our GCF. Our GCF of 3s squared minus 3s is 3s. We keep this guy positive. And our GCF line over here is negative 10. Now, when I factor this out, this should become s minus, is that supposed to be plus 10 on the end? Yeah, so then this should be s minus 1, this should be plus 10, and this should be s minus 1. Now we only need one of these because they're the same. It's like when we did factoring of perfect squares. We only took one copy. So we take one of these and we take this. So then this says that 3s squared minus 13s plus 10 is equal to 3s minus 10 and s minus 1. Does that change a little? No, it doesn't, because then if we look back here, that's plus 30. Yeah, perfect. I just missed a plus sign. So this works every time. Just go slow. So let's look at this one. Our product now is two numbers that multiply to 54. But they also need to sum to 21, to negative 21, sorry. So when I look at this, Two numbers that multiply to 54. That's a little bit of a harder one, so I'm going to break that down. So I know I got 2 and 27, and then my next one is 3 and 18. Perfect. This will definitely sum to give me 21, but I need it to be negative 21, so then I add some negatives in, and now it's negative 21. So then negative 3 and negative 8. So then when we look at this, 6x squared minus 3x minus 8x. Oh, I'm using the wrong number. That should be 18. Plus 9. Okay, so then we draw our t-chart. The GCF between 6x squared and negative 3x is 3x. And then my GCF over here should be 9. Negative 9. So then this should be 2x minus 1. 2x minus 1. Perfect. If these are not the same, you've done something wrong. So we take one of these and this, and we get 2x minus 1, and then I'm going to factor out that 3, and then that gives me x minus 3. Because that's it in lowest terms, and then I'm actually going to rewrite that too, because that kind of bothers me, is that it should be 3, 2x minus 1, x minus 3. Just like that. You will get lots of practice with this. Please do the practice. Please ask if you have any questions.